What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys are not new, hello, happy Friday. So you guys saw the title. We're chilling today. We're just gonna talk. I was supposed to be editing, but instead I decided to film because my pointer finger is killing me and I can't bend it, and I kind of need my right hand to use the mouse. So we're here instead. You guys know I'm a very open human being. I don't really hide stuff on the internet. I'm kind of cautious about some things, like I don't extremely open up about my personal life, but I do share things with you about myself that doesn't involve other people because I want to be as open as possible and help anybody with anything that they need help with, because I feel like I would have wanted somebody there for me when it comes to stuff, especially this. So I'm just going to be a very open book today about my mental health. Be very open about healthy and unhealthy relationships, and we're just gonna talk. And if there's stuff that I don't cover in this video that you guys have questions about and you don't want to ask publicly in the comments, you can always DM me on Instagram. I'm totally willing to have a conversation. Here are my socials. I don't know why the dog is barking. Anyway, I don't know what she's yelling at. Let's just get into this then. Let's just get into this. Let's just be open and honest. So, I have notes written down on my phone. How I juggle my relationship with trauma and anxious attachment. If you guys don't know, I was in a relationship for 5 years before the one I'm in now. I don't regret the relationship. I've done videos on stuff like this in the past. We also had a YouTube channel at one point. So our relationship was very, very public. And I feel like that caused a lot of problems in our relationship. But there was other stuff that we ended up just not working out. Like, we grew and we just weren't right for each other anymore. That's no hate on him. But I did develop a lot of trauma and attachment issues, and I have like relationship PTSD stuff now. I'm not gonna sit here and blame him for all of it. I'm not, because that's not the kind of person I am. I'm here to talk about how to help stuff like that when you get into a new relationship, because going from a toxic to a healthy relationship is a lot. It's a lot to deal with. You could end up being the toxic person in the relationship instead of being in the toxic relationship yourself. I'm just going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about what I'm learning in my almost 2 years I've been with somebody, and he's been fantastic, but I still have trauma from past relationships that I need to work on. I'm going to tell you guys how I handle stuff and how we handle things together to get over my toxicity and my PTSD and my anxious attachment with him and stuff like that. So that's enough of a little description there. I have written down, trust is important, reassurance is important. You cannot have a healthy relationship if you don't have trust. And if you have anxiety and you overthink and you have trauma in past relationships, you need reassurance to make the relationship work. If you're not getting that, the relationships, it's just not happening. Like, there's no getting around it. That's what you need in order to function. And in order to get yourself out of the toxic state that you're in the relationship, you need the reassurance to understand that this isn't that relationship. This is a new relationship and you guys are fine. So right off the bat, if y'all don't trust each other and he's not giving you the reassurance that you need in the relationship, don't do it, because there's no getting that from somebody. Like, you could ask over and over, they're just gonna do it right off the bat. When you guys get in arguments with your significant others, most of the time, one of the people likes to distance himself, be quiet for a while, just sit in silence, and then come back to it later. And then the other person will want to address the issue immediately right off the bat emotionally. I am the person that wants to address stuff immediately right off the bat. And my boyfriend is the one that needs to sit in it for a little while, think, be mad, so he doesn't take it out on me and then come back to the situation later when he's calmed down. And that is one of the hardest things to figure out when it comes to conflict in relationships. It really is. It's so difficult, and it causes so many problems, especially if you have trauma and anxious attachment. It really does. It makes things so unbelievably complicated for you. So I'm gonna tell you guys like how I handle stuff like that. And I'm still not perfect, by the way. Still have anxious attachment and I still have trauma, but I'm telling you guys how I've been handling it and how it's been slowly getting better and better every day. So when he's mad, he distances himself. He doesn't want to talk right away, but because I do need to talk right away in order to get it out, I now journal. So whatever it is I want to say to him in that moment, I pull my journal out and I just write it down instead, because getting it out on paper is better than holding it in and not saying anything. It's better than aggressively bombarding him and saying, we need to talk about this now, let's talk about this, I don't like when you're upset with me, can we have this conversation, I don't like being in this spot with you. He needs a second. You don't. So write it down in a journal. Write all your feelings down And then when he's ready, let him come to you and talk, and then you will also be more level-headed. I know that you want to talk about it in the moment. I know that, because me too, but sitting on it really does help. It helps you not say things you don't mean. It helps you think clearly and not say stuff that's gonna cause more problems. It just, sitting in it does help. It sucks, but it helps, and that's why I journal. And that's why I write it down. I try to distract myself with something I enjoy usually too, so I'll journal first, and then while he's sitting in his problems, I try to distract myself with something I enjoy. So like, I like filming, I like editing, I like reading books, I like watching TV, I like coloring. I've had an obsession with Monopoly Go lately. You should add me on there. I'll put my link in the description. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. Actually, maybe. So I try to distract myself just with something to get my mind off of it, and most of the time I don't get my mind off it 100%. It's still gonna be lingering. Like, if you overthink, it's gonna linger, it's gonna be there. But that's why you gotta do something that you enjoy, so that it's easier for you to sit in the overthinking. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I do as well. I also try to reassure myself. So like, say we get in a fight, right? I will sit there and say, yes, he's mad at you right now, but he just needs a second. That doesn't mean that it's the end of the relationship. That doesn't mean he won't forgive you. That doesn't mean that he's going to ignore you for the rest of his life. He just needs a few hours. All you need to do is get through the few hours. That's all you need to do. You just need to sit in it for a few hours, be miserable, and let him have it. Because otherwise, it's just going to be worse. He's not leaving you. He loves you. I just reassure myself. Reassuring yourself is kind of difficult, but it does help. What else did I write down in my notes? Oh, I also wrote down if they wanted to, they would. That doesn't really pertain to this, but like, if they wanted to, they would. You know what I mean? Like, if they wanted to treat you well, they would. If they wanted to make things work and they need space in order to, you know, figure their shit out, and if you don't give them space, they're doing what they can to make sure that they can fix the relationship and get through the solution. If they wanted to, they would. I also wrote down, remember that it's you guys against the problem and not you against him. Of course, he probably made you angry. Or maybe he's upset with you about something, or maybe you're upset with him about something, and it causes an argument. When you guys finally sit down and talk about it together, you guys need to think of a solution together that's going to work. It is not him trying to sit there and berate, what's the word? Berate? I don't know. Whatever. Either way, it's not supposed to be him sitting there blaming you for everything and you sitting there blaming him for everything. You guys need to sit down and come to a solution together and say, this is our issue. How are we both going to work through this together to make it work? Just saying. If you guys sit there and make it a he said, she said, or you did this or you did that, it's not going to fix it. It's just going to cause more issues down the road. Oh, I also wrote down, love them hard, give them yourself fully, don't hold back feelings, and be honest about emotions. Because, and here's my thing, I don't like conflict. So I try to avoid saying things that are bothering me because I don't want it to be a conflict situation, and I don't want him to get upset with me, and I don't want him to get mad at me about having these feelings. So I always just avoid saying stuff that I probably should be saying to him and telling him. And that just causes more problems down the road, because then my anxiety and my anger builds up over time and just gets worse and worse and worse until I snap. So if you have a problem, even if you think it's the smallest thing, bring it up to your partner. Bring it up to them. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to just be a conversation. It's not going to be an argument. He's going to say to you, he or she is going to say to you, they're going to say, oh, I didn't know that's how you felt. Thank you for telling me. So I'll try to work on that. Most 9 times out of 10. And if they don't, like I said, if they wanted to, they would. Not for you, honey. I'm going to say, actually, I probably shouldn't air my dirty laundry from my relationship out on the internet. But we've gotten in little things and little arguments and little tiffs. But he always brings up his feelings when he has them right away. And then I fix them. And then he feels fine. But I never bring up my issues. Granted, I don't really have any because I'm a simp. But there are those things. There's always going to be things in a relationship. No relationship's perfect. But I always like to hold shit in. And then I don't say anything. But recently I've gotten way better at that. The last few months I've gotten really good at just being honest and open about what I need and how I feel. And it's really helped. It's helped a lot. Especially even just my mental health on a day-to-day. Not even just in the relationship, just with my feelings. Like, I don't overthink as much. I'm not sitting here stressed all day every day. Because I know I can come to him about anything. You know what I mean? Oh, I also wrote, if they don't support you and how you need things in the relationship to feel better, then they're not for you. And that's, again, they wanted to, they would. And then I just have two other little things. This is something that I've lived by for, I think, 9 years now, and it's helped almost every single argument I've ever gotten into. Anytime I'm angry about quite literally anything the other person has done, this has helped me. I get mad about something, and what I tell myself before I even bring it up to the person, I tell myself, is what you're mad about right now going to matter in 5 years? So he didn't take the garbage out the one time you asked him to take the garbage out, and you're mad about it. Is that going to matter in 5 years? The one time he forgot to take the garbage out? Granted, if it's an over and over again thing, and that's supposed to be something he's doing around the house, and he just forgets weekly, then that's something you bring up, because in 5 years that's going to matter. You're not getting help around the house you asked for. He said he'd do something he's not doing, and it's happened multiple times. That is something to bring up. However, if he forgets to bring the garbage out one time, and you're irritated and mad about it, don't start an argument. Don't even bring it up. He forgot once, who cares? Everyone forgets something. It happens. And that's just one example. Like, it could literally be anything. It could be something big. It could be something small. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't start an argument. Don't bring it up. If it happens again, then bring it up. And that's my take on that. And I'm telling you guys, I've followed that rule for so long, and it has helped me get out of, like, anger so many times. It really has. The last thing that I wanted to say, just at the end of this, is my relationship is still not perfect. No relationship is. It is healthy. It's a very healthy relationship. We know how to communicate. We know how to talk to each other, but I still have my faults. I'm not perfect. I still have issues. Like, there's still things I need to work on. There's still things he needs to work on, but that's life. You guys figure it out together. But the toxic and anxious attachment that I still have, it's there. It's not gone. It's gonna take time. But these are just the things that I've used to help get over that. And I wrote down 2 things that I know for a fact I still struggle with, like, pretty bad. So I wrote down getting anxiety and hating that he's mad at me. It's still there. I just give him space and I learn to sit in it. That, when I talked about that, I still struggle with it. It's still hard for me. It's not easy. Honestly, there's some times where I can't sit in it and I do bombard him and he gets mad at me and it makes it worse. I still do that. But the days that I don't, it's so much easier to deal with. It really is. And I still struggle. I do. And then the other thing that I wrote down, this is kind of, I feel like this is more anxious attachment than toxicity or like PTSD from another relationship. If he is even slightly off, so like, say we're having one of those weeks where it's just, you get home, you go to work, or you get home, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, you go to bed. If it's just one of those weeks where it's like 6 days in a row of that, I get very anxious and worried that he's getting sick of me. Because say there's 3 days in a row, we're very touchy, we're very on each other, we're hanging out, we're watching movies, we're cuddling, we're doing relationship things, right? And then 6 days in a row after that, it's just repetitive and it's just work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep. Towards day like 4 or 5, I'm like, oh God, does he not like me anymore? Because we were just fine for 3 days. We were just cuddly for 3 days. I still do that, and it's really bad. It's very bad. Hasn't gotten better. I'm really trying, and I don't bring it up to him because I know I'm overthinking it. And here's my thing. I need to get better at reassuring myself that if there was a problem, he would tell me. He has never been shy when it comes to bringing up an issue that he has with me, and I need to just assume that he's going to do that if he was sick of me. I need to just assume that he's going to tell me, hey, you're getting boring. I'm sick of this relationship. It's not giving me what I need anymore. And I need to learn to tell myself that, because it's like an every other week thing, and it's really a problem. I just wanted to be open and honest about like mental health and relationships and attachment and anxiety and communication. Like, I just want to be an open book when it comes to relationship advice, and I've been through my fair share of shit, and I'm now learning how to re-love myself. I'm learning how to communicate. I'm learning all these healthy things in a relationship. And I feel like I should share that because I am a very open book, and I feel like it's a lot of good things that other people might not know, or maybe they just need to hear someone else say it to say, maybe I should do that then. Maybe I should listen. If, again, you guys have any other questions other than what I've brought up, make sure you guys DM me on Instagram or even TikTok if you follow me there. Here are my socials. We're being an open book today about relationships. Anyway, on that note, me and my boyfriend are spending time together tonight because I asked him to give me a few hours of his time so that I didn't feel like he was getting sick of me. Another thing I'm getting better at is asking him to spend time with me when I need it instead of feeling like I'm bothering him. But that's for a different day. If you guys like relationship videos like this or like advice and stuff like that, let me know in the comments. And if you guys want to hear me talk about anything else relationship related, also let me know down in the comments, because this is what I'm here for, you guys. Like, this is my cup of tea. Advice in relationships is my cup of tea, and I'm very open book. I'm actually just a really open book about everything, not even just relationships, but you know. On that note, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up. Also, make sure you guys subscribe and then click the bell so you're notified every time I upload. I upload every single Friday. You guys know the drill. And on that note, I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.